heating up over there? Are we getting hot?
We're getting hot and we're also getting bit by
Oh,
mosquitoes.
now is it unusual for you to
So
have
you had to jump
mosquitoes?
onto this podcast with me tonight, all fired. I mean, I always say that I'm the person in the room that you don't have to worry if you about a mosquito because they'll just bite me. So everybody's
Ah,
safe. And the irony is that I went out into my home gym, which is in our garage, and I leave the garage door open because we've been getting some like 81, 82, just where everybody's feeling spring is sprung. You
yeah,
can start to feel that it's just there's a change in season for sure. And it's hotter and those little bastards come out. And I mean, like I'm itching. We've now been like chit-chatting and I'm like itching in places I was not itching before. So like I am definitely allergic to mosquitoes.
yeah. Oh,
We'll
yeah,
start there.
yeah.
And when we first came on, I realized I had just two. And now I'm like, it's like as we're talking, I look a little pale, um, but they just get me. So
Yeah,
yes, the weather is beautiful, and I have to spray myself. I had to probably take a bath in that disgusting smelling,
like insect
spray.
spray.
And
Yes.
I know that all of our listeners are going to like hopefully send me DMs or texts or emails or something, being like, Jess, I've got this great homeopathic thing to do, and I'll tell you, I'll do anything right now not to get bit.
I wonder with oregano oil would help. We were talking, I was with one of some friends in the weekend, and one of them's a naturopath, and we were talking about just the amazingness of oregano oil. Um,
Oh,
do
I'll
you know
smell
your
like Italian seasoning. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I totally. And apparently 85% of people secrete certain blood type markers through their skin, and
Mm,
mosquitoes love type O. So I don't know if that's you or not, but maybe this is one of the reasons why you get bit and others don't. Um,
definitely.
and
I mean, it's just
apparently,
really totally unattractive. I feel like I'm swelling up as we're. It's a good thing that you left me because I look like I feel like I'm. It's
well,
like
I can't
crazy.
even see. I cannot even see. And do you know actually your skin microbiome? So the mix of
Yeah.
bacteria on your skin influences your smell, and that's something else that
God
they're
dang
picky.
it.
They're picky.
Ah.
Like you just smell and taste extra delicious to them.
Oh
Um,
yay.
post exercise in the
Yes.
heat.
I'm girlfriend. This is me. I'm completely bit. And so I hope, that you all spray yourself if you happen to be and tasty like me, but good grief. I mean, this is like,
I
so
know.
basically tonight, like as we speak, I feel like it's the first warm night and it's also the first night that I've been attacked since last summer or spring.
Oh
So I
yeah.
haven't had this many bites. And tonight it was just, I was rewarded and here I am. So
I
as
wonder
usual,
as
I'm very happy to
well.
be talking with you because it's kind of distracting
A
me from,
distraction.
where we
Yeah.
are.
I wonder
But
whether having that break, the
mhm,
9 months or 10 months or whatever, I
yeah,
wonder if this makes you like just universal you more sensitive as well to
I do. I
mosquito
think it makes
bites.
me more, it's a great question. And I think it does. And I also think that I just got a little cocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I probably didn't spray enough. And Jeff's like, my husband, he's like, you need to spray before you start the workout. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you can't just spray during when you feel something bite you. You have to like literally douse and then you can go off. And so oregano oil is one thing. Good old fashioned disgusting off is another one. And I think,
Citronella, eucalyptus.
citronella,
Yes.
eucalyptus.
And lavender.
Okay.
And lavender.
Oh, lavender.
Jess, you need to get yourself down to your natural health store and pick up
Yes.
these like natural things to just sort of have around you and on you, and put some citronella candles or something out when you're working out. I don't know. Save your
I
poor
think I'm
little
going to do all
body.
the above. I mean, this is
Yeah.
actually, and I know that they've said it, but I think I was like, when we first sat down, I was fine, but it's true. I think when you're allergic to something, you start getting like, as the time goes on, you're like, open that, you're like,
I
I'm
know.
feeling it here and here. But Jem brought me this ice pack and I'll look a little bit, otherwise I feel just fine. It's really nice to have the weather and I'm glad that it's warm
Oh yeah.
and I'm always happy to see you. And I was
Oh
thinking
lovely.
about the question that I was asked, and often am asked, but I liked that I had a client of mine ask me this. She said, how do you answer the question when somebody says to you, I'm doing the best that I can?
Mm. I know,
And I
and
just
you
thought that
sort of
was a really interesting question, you know?
yeah, and I did actually love what you said, Jess. Like when you were sort of relaying to me like how you respond in that situation. Like I feel like you're much more empathetic than I am. Actually, when you sort of walk through your process, I'm like, that's good because I don't often go there as a first step. So
Well, that's why we're a good team.
yeah,
I go there. Sometimes I
100%.
actually would love my head to be more like yours.
More like,
This
all
is
right, T,
perfect.
all right, I'd like straight and narrow. These are the things. I mean, because let's be clear, when
Yeah.
people say they're trying their best, yet they're not
Hmm.
seeing results, if we come at them with some alternative solutions, it doesn't mean that we doubt their effort because the effort is never in question.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I ask, what does your best look like?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that people know what it is sometimes. I think they actually in the process to accomplish whatever goal that is for them. And you and I really are in the business of people saying this to us. This is not an
Mm,
uncommon thing in our fields. Like we get asked this question a lot. And I think, and even to myself, like, what does it look like? Is probably my first place that I would ask. And then the second is like, I still go back and we've I think we now touch on it every single time we do a podcast, but I really think that you need to have a place for notes, whether
mm,
it is a notepad and a pen, or in my case, I've been tracking since we started, you know, planning some of our food together. I've been just trying to track in a spreadsheet what that looks like. I think you need to have visual representation sometimes of what you're actually doing, this one friend and client of mine was like, well, a friend of a friend he's an alcoholic and I think he's having some trouble. And I was like, I wonder how can you look at that stuff? Can you look at like what you're actually doing? You know what I mean? It's sort of like you think you might have had one drink, but maybe you had seven. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Oh
Maybe
no,
you're going to have a little bit of protein and you're supposed to get 150 grams and you had 40, when you
yeah.
actually start looking at it. I don't
I
know. How would you
agree.
answer that?
Yeah. So if people are trying their best, my read of that situation is that they've likely been focusing on protein.
Hmm.
They've cut out like either crap or they've cut out snacks or they're trying their best. Yet I sort of get them to explain a little bit further. But then do you go off the rails, not off the rails? Do you just like make choices that don't align with your goals? But ultimately, I'm with you, Jess. Like if someone, so first, if they are like focusing on protein and think that they're eating what they should be eating, but not losing weight, because this is often how what the conversation is sort of
Sure.
centered around, then I absolutely get them to write it down or track. And if they think they're doing everything right, they actually probably need to track and account for everything and weigh everything and put that effort in because they are either they're likely under eating what they should be eating and they're overeating and they're over they're underestimating amounts of things like peanut butter and mayonnaise and cooking oil and those things which really ramp up the calories. So that's often what I see from someone who is already monitoring loosely what they're doing. They just need to tighten that up.
Oh, that's good. I hadn't really thought about it like that. I like it. We're under eating more of what we should be overeating.
100%. That's correct.
That's a really
Yes.
good way to put
Yes.
it. Because
But
again, I mean, I think people can learn a lot about what I've now come to look at food in a much more empowering way, not to kind of like fight it, but go like, hey, mayo,
yeah,
because I like
yeah.
mayo.
Yeah.
So I just look around, but and I have to be kind of cognizant of that. And sometimes I'll just turn to mustard instead because it
Yeah.
still gives me flavor. But I do think a lot can be said about just using that as an example because I know I could do a better job of that myself.
But equally, though, if someone hasn't even been loosely tracking, sometimes they feel they're trying their best, but they may be trying to solve a problem that's not even there in the first place. So,
Like
and
example.
yeah, and if they are like, they're like, oh, I just need to up my protein. And so trying to eat a lot more protein, but actually that's not the problem. Like if I look at like, I'm like, okay, just write down what you're doing first and foremost. So let's actually see where the problem might be, because they think they know the problem, but actually, if they start writing it down, and I'm looking and I'm like going, well, no, it's actually not the protein. It's not the issue. The issue is that you're beginning to eat at like 1 p.m. Or the issue is that you're having like 3 snacks and 3 meals and you're actually overeating. So sometimes people think they know what the problem is because they're looking on social media and social media is telling them to eat more protein. But that's actually not their issue. Or it might be, but it's couched in a different way. And just focusing on that isn't actually going to solve the problem that's right in front of them.
Ugh, that's really good mix.
That's my job.
But
but
that's really,
yeah.
but that's a powerful thing. I think I almost take it, I always take the approach of like, unpacking whatever old narrative you had around things. I
Yes.
think we both kind of do it, similarly. You'll take the kind of goal of like, nope, that's like mayo has this many calories in it and mustard does not. And I'm kind of like, what happened in your childhood?
I love it. They need a bit of both, like they need that
This is true.
emotional sort of
It's
underpinning, but
true.
they also need to action steps.
This is,
What
look,
happened in their
if there is, I
childhood?
mean, literally, if there was ever anything that, besides this like pen and paper, analogy of life, it is truly just take some small action steps. And the small action steps really lead to the big ones. And they'll,
Yeah.
and while you're doing it, I will assure you that your road to recovery will also include a lot less shoulds. You'll stop shooting yourself as much as you do. I have been saying it. I still say it, but I say it a lot less because I
Yes.
find people whenever they come in and they're just very like, you know, just so worked up about what, they're doing their best and the best is not working.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how many shoulds did you say? And how many things, how are you thinking about it
Yeah.
differently?
Yeah.
So I do believe you're doing your best, but what action steps are you actually doing with great regularity?
Yeah.
Regularity is really important. The steps that we take regularly are what we're going to do, and not to complicate it
No.
as much as we want to,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
100%.
know.
100%.
But I like the idea of under, we undereat the things that sometimes we should be overeating.
Overeating.
And I know that like I sometimes put the brakes on I've already had a smoothie for breakfast. Why would I have another one for a snack or
Yeah.
later? But in reality, it's a fantastic snack. And if I'm hungry and I don't know the timing of what I'm eating or what I'm doing, it's like that's like a perfect way to, you know, throw in, some extra protein and just fuel
Yeah.
without feeling like I overdid it or something like that. Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That sort of deal. What do you chat GPT?
I was looking at, I was going back to mosquito,
Homeopathic mosquito remedies?
yeah,
Or Ally McBeal hair.
yeah,
I
yeah.
still can't
No,
leave that one alone.
no, the mosquito thing, which is just what
Did you find any
we haven't
other
done.
mosquito remedies besides
No, damn it.
oregano oil,
I really wanted to, but
lavender?
I do think having a bath,
I know
Jess,
you're just
like
watching me take this ice pack all over my. The ice pack helps a little bit because it just takes the swelling down. It is nuts. I mean, I don't know anybody who has quite, except for your friend, I guess, who swells like a you know what. But I
a
don't know.
cold
This
shower,
seems to have.
a
I'm going
cold
to do a cold
shower.
shower.
Yeah, I think
That's going to
so.
happen next, and maybe just get some of whatever the stupid mosquitoes have left on me. But I thought while I'm erupting and having allergic responses to mosquitoes, I would think about what is powerful about that question, and I think doing our best. But our best has to have a game plan, and I
Yeah,
think every day if you don't wake up. Um, and I know it's a lot of game plans because for a lot of our listeners, they're already stacked up, right? They're busy
yeah,
with work, they're busy with their families, they're busy with whatever athletic endeavors they're doing. And so they having a game plan for just one more thing. But I'm telling you, it can just be like a small game plan. You and I were talking
yeah,
about this like earlier. It's just, you feel, it's amazing how much, um, more empowering you feel. And then your best really does start to feel like your actual best because you're doing something.
Yeah.
If you're not doing anything toward achieving whatever, even if it's a very long game plan, don't you think it does kind of feel like I'm not sure if I'm moving forward in this.
I totally agree. And you can feel a little bit overwhelmed and floundering if you don't have some sort of direction, right? Even if, to your point, it's just one or two things you're focusing on, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed by the big task of whatever it is that you're trying to improve. So if the very small thing that you can do is write down what you're eating.
That's it, you guys. Continue to make this your takeaway. It wasn't all about tracking your protein. However, it does kind of come back to tracking your protein, because I think if you all want to build your muscle, it's just the best reminder in the whole wide world. If your goal is to build muscle, then you must take 2 to 3 action steps every day toward that goal, right?
100%.
So I think the majority of our listeners want to build muscle. So use this. What 2 to 3 things, if you want to become better at, data analysis for whatever part of your job is, you're going to do 2 or 3 things that are going to allow you to become better at that. If I'd like to be a little bit of a better cook, I'm going to at least practice one recipe or one thing toward that. But if I want to build muscle, I know for sure I need to move some weight in my gym. And I know that I need to be mindful, and it's too hard to memorize it. So write stuff down, write it down, write your 100%. Notes, write the things that you're thinking about doing, and put your pen to paper or write it into your Excel spreadsheet. And when you do ask that question, I would encourage you to say, well, what is your best looking like these days? What is that to you?
Nice one.
Yeah. And my other question, last one to follow up on that, is how often do your clients, Mikki, tell you that, I am doing my best and I feel like it's not enough? Do you get that question more, or do you get like, yeah, I'm working really hard and it's showing? Or none of the above?
I think it depends on who I'm talking to. If it's like someone who is just a new person to me, I would say it is more the latter. No, I'm sorry, the former. Whereas I think if it's someone who I've been working with consistently, like I cannot tell, and you'll know this, I cannot tell you the number of people who are like, oh, if only I knew protein had this effect, like that is just this, it's almost like laughable how often I hear that now, because people have sort of discovered it. So it really depends on the person.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
But I do know that it does make me pause and think about what I want to put into place every day. And I just want to have a couple of things that I know that will help me at least move forward. Goals will not be met in a single day, but they will be met over time. So nice. I know that the things that I'm doing every day, and you all too, will help you answer that question. And 7 new ways that you too can, come summertime, get a little bit less affected by mosquito bites on today's podcast. Just to recap, because that's what I do really well too. I talk about your childhood trauma, and I do a mighty fine job of recapping. But cheers to that great question, and thanks for the rosemary and oregano. I will be smelling like Italian dinner very soon here.
Nice one, Jess.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful that you've got your ice block with you.
Thank you.
And I bet you're grateful for that too.
It's been a massive, just a bit of a distraction for you. I'm trying to focus on this, and I'm like rubbing this all over my body.
I do actually feel how helpful that's been. So it's been wonderful.
I appreciate that. I'm grateful for us for this. This is again a great source of joy. And I am very appreciative that we have this podcast, and I'm very appreciative that we can bring little nuggets to people, because I do think a lot can be said in 20 minutes as it would turn out. So I do feel like you can, I pity the longer podcasts, because I'm like, why do we need all that time? I feel like Mikki and I can get to business. We give you everything we need and entertain you in the process.
Love it.
In 20 minutes. So that's the balance of us. But
amazing.
Cheers to you. I'm sure you're going to get ready for a long run, and I'll be here icing.
See you.